Chris says, I'm so frustrated with the state of my health, struggling with depression and frustration. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about frustration, anger, and
Hmm.
what are the strategies around that? Like, I'm curious to hear that. I'm feeling this frustration and anger. Hmm.
It's interesting because you guys are in the same plane at the same moment.
Yeah, so maybe what I would usually do is if I feel frustrated and anger before, I would just keep it inside and put my stoic face on, and everything's fine. It's all good. That's that's strength right there. And then I let it out by blowing up or something. Something that would allow me to express it in a unhealthy way, in an unhealthy way. Yeah. But my go-to would be to check out and numb myself. Yeah. What about
Smart.
you?
Are you
What's
asking Chris
your
or me? Chris?
no, I'm asking, yeah, you. Like this
Oh,
relationship with
me.
anger and frustration, that energy, that charge, and how do you deal with it? Yeah.
How do I deal with it? Well, what's alive in me right now is because I'm aware of what you said just before we went live. Um, and I'm curious if you're just able to breathe into what's underneath the anger and stress you felt or feel in being overwhelmed.
Mm. It's urgency piece. Um, it's coming up of wanting it to be all done now. And I think it's this journey of being outside my comfort zone and it's uncomfortable. And I want it to be easy,
Mm.
smooth, and comfortable and known. Um, I think I'm just facing a learning curve right now and what I'm working on. Yeah. And it's frustrating. And there's a judgment of being angry at it because I'm not in giving myself grace and trusting the process and going about it in a light and playful way.
Uh, Dre
Yeah.
Brooks here.
Oh, hey, Brooke.
Yeah, he's inviting you, and I appreciate that. Feel for 10 minutes because I notice how you're thinking and what's it like just to feel and accept, honor, and trust.
Feel sad.
Yeah. Thanks, Brooke.
Yeah, just noticing the welling of emotion coming up, surging up, and noticing my eyes are coming watery.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge your courage because we're alive and you're just breathing into it, and I really appreciate it. So if you breathe into that sadness,
Mm.
Brooke is supporting you too, and Chris. Just curious what you're noticing.
just the harshness on myself,
Yeah.
the the judgments, the criticism.
Yeah. Makes me feel sad. Because I see how hard you work and how much you actually really don't judge others.
I don't know about that.
Oh, well. I mean, we all do at moments, but you hold really beautiful space for people. And I want you to know that I can see and acknowledge that. And Chris says, I'm here for your brother. Underneath it is the shame of where we're at, the judging. Ah, my dad's voices and words.
Mm.
And Chris is kind of wondering, he missed the first part of what you're angry and frustrated with.
Um, just the impatience, the process. Um, just like I hear the thoughts of just surrender, trust, process, patience, and go. Though there's that anger and frustration as well, like that's humming around. Yeah, and it's just it's just honoring that in a healthy way. I want to honor it because it's in me, and
Can I
hearing
clarify?
that I have a need for like ease. I have a need for clarity. I think it's clarity. I'm it's just the journey of getting there, right? Getting the clarity. And just by talking about it in this way and just observing and honoring it, I'm feeling a lot lighter, clearer, and it's actually an invitation for me to um come back, like to simplify, to ask for help and support. Um it's because it's coming from this overwhelm of kind of like so many tabs open on my browser and so many projects going. It's just going back to priority and simplification. Maybe I'll hear myself and I'll create ease and order. So it's a sign, right? It's a sign. I think and this is just I'm thinking, I'm frustrated with myself, angry at myself. And that's letting me know that it's because I'm overwhelming myself. um, and I have a need for ease. So what my anger is telling me is, okay, let's take a pause and let's look at simplifying this. So that's giving me peace, a sense of peace. Um, uh, it's I feel it now. It's rather than you know someone telling me just relax or here's what you should do. That would just piss me off even more. Um, right. Though I'm coming to this realization that I'm actually allowing this energy to move. Yeah. And it's interesting because the feeling of anger is usually in my chest, is pressed against me, right? And in my head. And when I felt the sadness, I caved in. But it seems like the sadness melted it. Like, oh, I feel like I'm vibrating. Like it feels the pressure's there, but it's like, oh my God, it's like moving, it's vibrating. It's like active in a way. Um it kind of feels like a shiver, a cold spot that's vibrating from the inside out. Yeah.
I'm just going to invite you to really feel the shiver and breathe into it. And I just so appreciate, and to answer your question, if I may share, Dre, Dre's schedule is really full. And he's got a lot going on. And every time we go on Restream, there's stress. We want to do well. And they'd changed their button and I was a little bit frustrated and I asked for his support and I said, "Did you change anything?" Which felt accusatory and blaming because I used the word you. And it was just enough to um, set off an avalanche. Is that the word you would use, Dre? In him just before we came live.
Yeah. A switch.
A switch. A switch. And so it
Yeah.
seems that we have triggered moments, which is very interesting considering the topic and the opportunity that it brings us to come here. And so a lot of the times what I'll say is when we're triggered, the need is for self-connection. And sometimes we're like, well, I don't want to go live. I don't want to be in front of people like this. There's no way. He wasn't going to turn on his camera. And I was like, okay, we don't need to. But he came on anyway. Nate. Hi, Nate. Hi. And Brooke.
Mm.
Be
Thanks,
accountable.
brother.
Mm-hmm. Brooke, I'm excited you signed up for January and you're going to do the class with us again. Yeah.
Mm. I'm just seeing the comments now.
Mm.
I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you. Mm. And Brooke, appreciate your support. Yeah, it's I do have a highly activated judge in myself. I'm really critical on myself, and I know that. And for sure, I've been dealing with this overwhelm and stress for some time. And hmm, it's interesting because there's a lot of sadness showing up right now, and it's on anger. Yeah, and yeah, honoring that. Thank you. New moon tomorrow. Thanks, Chris. I don't follow the moon cycles, so I I do recognize the moon does have an effect. But absolutely, brother. Yeah. Mm.
So, what, Nate, prayer hands and heart. What Dre, I think, is really demonstrating really well is how we can connect to ourselves when we're feeling and start to recognize the thoughts we have about ourselves, which are very critical, very self-judgmental and condemning. And breathing into and observing them for ourselves, to allow ourselves to move through them. The energy moves and shifts, unless, of course, we go into our heads about the explanation of it. And I'm feeling very touched. Chris, Brooke, and it's part of what I hope we can do as a human species, to be able to just be real in the moment. To talk about what's alive in us as we're experiencing it.